What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I don't have the John Johnson introduction. I don't always say, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Gentlemen, today is a great day to be alive, to be breathing.
John will come make the stage official at some point.
Good morning, good morning. I see Ricky down there. I see Jeremy, John, Caleb, Sebastian.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Coffee with Closers. I am John Johnson.
He's gotten pretty good at his announcer voice, you know.
Blessed and highly favored.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. Dude, I just found out I've been working this deal. We're a week away from closing, and the inspector came back telling me that the wood destroying insect report is not all clear like I thought it was. He had two pieces of information on two different reports and just expected me to stitch them together, and now I have to scramble to find a siding, painting, and caulking guy for a close in 6 days.
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I was just hoping they could like, I don't know, wave the wand and just create the report that I need, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
I recently lost the deal due to the fact that the lender waited until 2 days before closing to say, "Oh, we never got a structural inspection."
Like, why are we doing that? You know, why?
And I was like, he was like, "Oh, I saw some cracks in the wall." It's like, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, it's an old ass house. So like, probably some cracks. I don't think the foundation's falling in anytime soon."
So confusing.
How many people actually drink coffee when they watch this show? Or did people just, you guys drink coffee? Or you guys drink, you guys are an energy drink people? Or you guys just like...
I'm a coffee guy.
You're a coffee guy?
Yeah.
Celsius. Some months of Celsius. Drinking coffee right now, Omar. Straight black coffee. Abe says no.
Can't you drink
6 a.m.
coffee while you fast?
I wait. Actually, technically, if you wait, the longer you wait to actually have caffeine, the better it is. I usually try to wait till like close to noon to like get my first dose of caffeine, just so I don't like so it lasts longer.
Does that screw up a fast?
What it messes with your adenosine receptors. So
those
I don't want to get too deep. But this is not my health community. You know, I don't want to get too technical.
For those of you,
the longer you can push off getting caffeine, the better it is. The longer you can stay awake and not have caffeine, push that later off, the longer it will last. You won't get a crash. It won't crash you out sooner.
Right. Okay. And so
just
for you guys in here, adenosine is a line item on your financial reports for your houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just fucking ranting.
It's line 14, right, Matt? It's line 14.
He's on.
That's my phone. He's actually doing work. Yeah, and the rest of us are just we just don't even. Do I even work anymore? I don't know. You ask Adam. Adam runs my company now, so
Well, he's crushing it.
He is crushing it. 20 years old.
Good morning.
There he is. Here I am. I do this, guys. I do this lifestyle completely, totally from Brazil. I do it 100% from my laptop. I do this lifestyle completely virtually.
I do love that John.
Simon, Prolific Kev, Adam, Acquisitions, John, Caleb. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for carrying the boat stand. Thank you for carrying the boat stand.
How do you think that? How do you like my impression, John? Is it we getting? Are we go? Are we, am I getting there?
You're there. You're there. I was getting myself together here, and I heard, "Oh, I'm blessing."
I had to pretend to be you. Did you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
Oh, you know who is in here though is Coach.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, Coach got his first deal.
I want Coach to come up just
who invited this guy up on stage?
I've been wondering where Coach has been, and obviously he's been busy.
Coach is busy trying to make some money, dude. Coach, get up here, dude.
Coach, that's right. He knows how to get up here.
Yeah.
There he is.
The man.
He already changed on us. Look at him.
He already switched up. He doesn't know how to act. He doesn't know how to act right now.
Gosh.
Man, it's a blessing. I just want to say thank you. John Johnson had to take his glasses off. Like I can take that off, but I just know like the Friday ritual up here with the closers has always been a blessing to be in proximity, keeping God first, and just always just like everything. John, Matt, Dan, like Bob, the things that you guys have told me through the beginning has always been 100%, 1,000% true. And it's just a testimony to see like my first deal come and just like, it was everything like you guys would say it would be. You guys stay consistent. Don't worry about it too much. Just don't just focus on too much other things. Like don't ask too many questions. Just get into it, get started and keep going. That's what I did the whole way through. And it's feeling like I'm thankful to you guys because I know without a shadow of doubt, like, yes, I had it in me, but you guys gave me the confidence that I needed, like the information. I didn't know what an ARV was 4 months ago. And just to see me sitting at that table, like, it was a surreal feeling to be there at that closing table and for her to hand me that check and that smile. I hugged everybody and it was amazing.
I love it. This man got his closer tag?
Yes, sir. I do. John was on it. I screenshot. I asked for it. I was like, man, hey, get the closer tag out. But it's a blessing. And it's like, this deal is over. I'm back to work and I'm ready to go.
That is a well-deserved closer tag. One of the most important questions is, it took you however long it took to get to that first deal. Now that you got the first deal under the belt, do you think that you learned something in this entire process now in order to get to that next deal faster?
Man, have I? Let me just give a breakdown just from my expertise. Yes and yes. So just from what I know now and what I didn't know 4 months ago, just the proper follow-ups, the cultivation of like the network and the relationships I've built. At that closing table, the lady even offered me to give me 2 of her other properties. Both are under contract, but she feel like they won't deliver and they close in September. She was like, Demetrius, you were so genuine. You were so helpful throughout this whole process. Like, you can definitely have those properties if they don't close on them. So even just that, keeping that relationship, which you guys have always talked about, of not just being a bot or NPC, really like not even being so salesy, but really actually helping someone. We get paid on finding problems and helping people. And you guys have always preached that. And it's like, even that has helped me, is just saying like, whoa, okay, might got 2 more deals lined up in the pipeline, might be working on. And it's just like, just keep staying consistent. So that, and also just the type of list I was pulling. So first I was just all over the place, like just pulling things, hearing things, different places. I hear vacant, I hear pre-foreclosure. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. I hear probate. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Oh, but then I did research, that takes too long. So I'm like, what can work for me? So now I'm on my niche where, and this is one thing that I want everybody to take from this: never let other people insecurity stop you. Like if you ever hear Matt and Dan talk about agents, they talk about it with so much love and like they love to do it. If I was like everybody else and just listen to so many people say, don't talk to agents, agents are assholes, which some of them are, you know what I'm saying? You're going to get some people that are like, you know what I'm saying, the A word, but excuse my language. But you have to understand when you got good people like Matt and Dan who like you can kind of dissect the knowledge when they say like just talk to agents if that's where you're feeling. Because I'm feeling ovations. Like I'm feeling if I would have did an ovation on this property, because I understand it so good now and it's still not like to the max capacity, but I want to talk to agents. I want to go to the properties where I already have a pain point where they're already were listed or they failed listing or they tried to list. And then I want to see, can coach help them now see why did it fail? Was it the price? Was it the terms? And come in with a creative financing structure and then save the deal. So I want to focus on properties that were already listed or failed listing and then go in and see if I can work my A off and get a deal.
There you go, man. I think that's huge. And I was touching on it last night in one of the voice channels. Like the one of the biggest disservices you can do to yourself is looking at this list over here, and you never get it. You're never able to create that traction. You're never able to build that consistent pipeline and the consistent closings because your eye is just on something new every single day, every single week. And then if you do get some closings, you can't even accurately track say you get 3 closings last month. How do you even track it if one came from a random flip and one came from a random probate and a random, because you're pulling all these different things. So it's really, really tough. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why you got to that closing is because you identified like, all right, I'm doing too much here. None of this even really makes sense. And then identifying like, this is who I should be going after. And again, man, you got that X factor of, you seem like a guy and you are a guy that really wants to help people. And you have that authentic personality and you have the ability to build those authentic relationships with people. Some people are good at running numbers. Some people are more analytical, things like that. You should lean into that part of yourself as much as you possibly can when whatever niche you're choosing to move forward with, because I think that'll serve you extremely well.
I was going to actually say to him, I think that with you specifically, I think that you just knowing your personality and seeing you, like analyzing you, you will do more successful if you can get out of the front end of your business as quick as possible and focus more on the back end of your business. You're going to be more successful building, if you're going to do one part of your work inside of your business at all, with your personality, you need to be on the back end. Because if you were to work for me right now, I'd put you in customer service. That's where I'd put you because you have the interpersonal connection. I wouldn't put you in sales because you want to please. You're like a people pleaser kind of person. But I would need you in customer service because we need people pleasers in customer service, right? And you can make people feel like they matter and all those kind of things. I think if you can try to find a way to delegate the front end of your business as quick as you can to where you can learn how to just funnel and get good with like putting people into marketing and having people who are good at acquisitions and putting those people into place, you'll be good at creating the back end of your business, building the relationships with buyers, building the relationships with the title companies, and just being, you'll have a good interpersonal communication with being like a good, back end person of your business. But if you were going to work in any part of your business, I would suggest you need to get out of the front end of your business as quick as possible because you don't ever want to sacrifice because your personality is a talent of itself.
Yeah.
And you need to place it into a position in your company that fits your personality the most. And so that's a big mistake that a lot of people try to make. A lot of people who aren't like direct salespeople try to make themselves become sales, whereas they could have just switched that up and got into the correct position and didn't have to deal with those type of things. So I think if you see yourself going farther, you're going to go farther faster if you position yourself in the back end of your business rather than try to do it all up front, and you're gonna have much more success. That's my advice.
Nah, you hit that head on, because that's what all I've been feeling. I've been having a vision in my mind, like I know I'm not the smartest person, but I know how to pick the smartest person and put them in position. I just don't know how to come up with that strategy yet, but that's like my next step.
Yeah, I mean, I have an attorney here, and I've known him for 10 years, and he runs a really successful practice out here, real estate attorney. And the dude is magnetic, like personality wise. He walks into a room and just his energy levels are crazy, like, and so he pulled me off to the side probably last year, somewhere around there, and he was like, "Hey, man, I trust you. We've known each other for a long time. Like, I want you to kind of give me like an audit of how do you think, what do you think is best for me? Do you think I should continue going to closings and doing that? Or do you think I should not even be in the office and I should be out networking and doing all?" And I was like, why you're even in that office, I have no idea. You should be like, his power is networking, his ability to see two people in a room and go, those two people should talk. Those two people should do business. Every time he's ever done it, it's created millions of dollars in revenue. They've created business. He just has this knack and this eye, and his energy levels are crazy. He's so much fun to be around. He raises money constantly for different things. And when he's at closings and he's like has to sit at the table and sign like, you can tell it's draining on him to even have to be there, because it's just not best suited for him. His business is at a level now where he doesn't need to be at the closings. He shouldn't be. He does it for me, just come hang out with me. But even then, he's like pacing around the room. He can't even sit down at the table. The guy is going crazy having to be there. And so he should not be in that room anymore. His job now, what best serves his business, is to be out there raising money, doing the networking events, putting people together, doing all of the things that he is best served doing. That's his personality type. And for you, I agree with Dan, like imagining you doing the acquisition and like calling and trying to acquire the leads. That's not where your personality and your authentic self is going to best serve your business in the future. So I think you should create a blueprint for yourself moving forward, get a couple more deals under your belt, and start creating that environment around you so you can, do that.
Get a couple more deals, coach, and then call me, and then we'll build it out and we'll work together.
Yes, sir.
We'll do it the right way.
Yes, sir.
Coach, man, I just gotta say, dude, I'm ecstatic for you, bro, because I remember.
I know, John. I know. I'm ready.
I just knew that this guy, he was different, man. He had that hunger in him from the beginning. He just needed to be around the right people. Guys, Coach came in here. He asked all the right questions, and he didn't just keep asking questions. He got to work. He implemented everything that everyone shared with him. And now, I mean, clearly you can see it. He's got the result. He's a closer, ladies and gentlemen. He's a closer. He's Coach the closer now.
Got that closer tag.
And I will say too, like the other thing is with him is like he every time he would come in here and ask a question, you could tell he has a different attitude, because your questions were always coherent, right? They weren't like all over the place. They weren't like you didn't come up here and be like, so hey guys, and you were always like, hey, so guys, I got this situation going on with this property. I just want to ask a quick question about this deal. Do you guys think this is a good situation? Blah, 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 blah. And we'd answer it the best we could. And you'd be like, okay, cool. Thanks. Facts. I'm off the stage, right? You'd be like, I'm going to go finish up. I'm going to go call that seller back right now and get that done, versus like trying to, always asking very open-ended stuff. You were just trying to take action and then failing, and then asking the specificities of what the reason was behind this, and that. And those are the questions that are going to give you the most benefit at the end of the day, right? It's like, we get a lot of questions that are like, what's the best form of marketing? How do I contact buyers? How do I pull a cash buyers list? Those are things that can be easily answered by outside sources. This is a time where you should have a question that is more specific. You're going to get more value out of asking us more specific questions about specific deals, about specific, situations, and about like, hey, if I got a situation with a seller where this is happening, what should I say? Right? You'll get much more value out of asking those type of questions to us up here and we're going to be able to give more value to the audience when you guys ask type of questions like that. I'm not saying don't ask your questions. I'm just saying if you come with questions to get the most out of it for yourself, try to come up with very clear and coherent questions. And if you think your question sounds too open-ended, go see if you can find it out the answer on, YouTube or something first before you try to ask someone specifically about that, very, open-ended topic.
Yeah, man. And I agree. Coach would come in here every morning and ask a question, and then tomorrow he would jump up on stage, and that was a follow-up to at least that specific. Like, you get people that ask a question and then they'll jump up 2 days from now, and then it's like, oh, what about this commercial real estate? And I'm like, weren't you just in here 2 days ago asking about single family properties? And like, and then 2 days from now, it's like, oh, and then, and it was just scatterbrained and just, again, trying to reach for anything. And like, you were in here with a notepad every single morning, like literally writing down notes. And then like Dan was saying, like, as soon as you got your answer and you're like, all right, I got it. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. I'm hitting the phones. You'd show up on a treadmill sometimes, like walking on your, doing your steps and doing your bike in the morning. And you're like, all right, it's time for me to hit the phones. And obviously, again, it's just like action will always be the answer. You came up here, you asked your questions, put it to action, and then that action led to the closing table. And now, again, it seems like you learned from that process as well. And that's the biggest thing. The closing is the icing on the cake. That assignment is the icing on the cake. But all the information that you learned in that process is going to be a much bigger cake at the end of the day, because now you get to eat multiple times. Now you can turn that one deal and all the information you learned from that into 2, 3, 4 more deals, and then grow your business like Dan is telling you to do. Yeah, now you got a real business.
My favorite part about getting the first check is and there's nothing like your first check, right? Because you only get it once, and it doesn't matter what size it is. It just you go from, can I do this, to I just did this. Now I can try and replicate this. And I think that's the coolest part, is knowing you have that ability to turn that into a thing now. You've made it a thing. It's not just an idea anymore, Coach. It's a thing for you. And I think that's awesome, and it's totally worth celebrating. So congratulations, man.
I'm jealous. Like that first check, that feeling you get with that first check, man, it's like, it's irreplaceable. It's like, I don't know. It's like when you're an old man and you see like a young kid and like the energy of it, you're like, oh, I'll never have that. Like, that's something there's no replacing that feeling of that first check, that first thing, So it's just like, hold on to that as long as possible, move on to the next deal and move on, but keep that feeling, man. And just don't let, obviously don't let the business taint you. You're going to deal with a lot of bullshit and a lot of bad people and bad operators, but keep doing what you're doing. What you as you are going to be the reason that you succeed in the future. Like, all of us will help you as much as possible, but the reason that you made it to the closing table is because of you, your personality, your drive, your all of that. So just keep that and you'll be good.
Sir, thank y'all so much. I'm not going to take most of y'all time up. I appreciate all the love, but I want to soak up more game because I got to hit the phones. And man, I just want to say thank you to everybody on this stage, all the people, and even in the community, the people who haven't closed the deal yet. Just stay consistent. I'm telling you, you got this. We got this as a community. You guys have, let me check. There are, John Johnson, can we get a little help? How many people are in this server?
Over 13,000.
There are over 13,000 people that you can connect with. I'm telling you, I talk to people every day on telling people, let me just give a quick gem. If you're in a certain market, you can literally go to the chat and then search your market, like just search, say, Michigan, and then you'll see all the conversations around Michigan. Certain people don't understand how to utilize the technology that they have in front of them. So when you search whatever you're looking for, you'll see all the people who are having buyers, all the people who have deals, all the people who have sellers, and then you connect with them. So understanding, and that goes into the CRM you're using. Anything that you are using, putting your hands on, understand how to fully get the information that you need out of it. Like, soak it up, because it's so much. If it's 13,000 people in here, we have a mixture of agents, wholesalers, top closers, like mega closers. So you can, if you bring them value, you can get something out. I'm telling you, it's here. You guys can do it. Keep God first, keep working, stay genuine and honest, and you got it. Y'all have a blessed day. Thank you so much, John Johnson, for just creating this whole thing. I can't thank you enough, and I'm super stoked, and I appreciate you so much, bro, forever. And thank you, Matt, Dan. I know Bob's not here. AB, Paul, Mr. Juan. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'm still here, and I appreciate it so much.
Love it, man. Love it. Proud of you. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Whew.
What a way to
That
start
feels
off
good.
the day.
That feels good.
Key gem
Shit,
that he
I mean,
dropped. He was talking
that's the
about
blueprint.
searching for your market. There's a search bar on Discord where you can search your market. You can look Michigan, whatever state, and you'll see all the comments that people post. Hey, I got buyers here. Hey, I'm looking for a deal here. And you can connect the dots just like that. You got to learn really how to leverage the Discord.
I mean, it's like like we said, like don't come in at there's very open-ended questions that get asked all the time. Somebody yesterday, like right away, was like, "What's PPC?" as we were talking about it, and I literally just typed in what is PPC, and I screenshotted it, and I was like, "There's a lot of stuff that you can just help yourself, and you can't just sit in Discord all day asking questions. You'll never get anywhere. So it's like you eventually have to be a self-server and figure out how to solve problems, at least the simple ones, and coach was out there every day talking to people, and every time he would have an issue that he couldn't figure out or that he needed help with, he'd come up, ask the question, we would tell him, he'd write it down, and then go implement it. And it's like you have to be that person. That's the blueprint right there. Action. Forward action.
Yeah, I hate people who come in here and I don't hate. Well, rephrase that.
And hate.
Sorry, I don't like using that term. I don't hate anybody. Truthfully, I really don't. I don't like it when people come in here and they say, I don't know what to do. I don't have any time. But yet they'll come in here and they'll sit with us for the whole entire show. And then they will claim that they can't have time to get on the phone and call people themselves, or they can't get on the phone and have time to call people and do it. It's the same people that will tell me because of their schedule or whatever that they don't have time to go to the gym, right? I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to cook my meals. I don't have time to do. They'll come up with like every excuse. But yet they'll sit down and they can watch a show late at night, you know what I mean, for a couple hours. They'll watch a TV show for a couple episodes on Netflix. They'll watch. If you're in the Riley household, you might be watching Suits.
I'm pissed about that.
Late at night. But for real, and what's crazy is like when I tell people, I'm like, you can work out any time of the day. You can make calls. You don't have to have 6 hours of your day allotted out to go make calls to people, right? Jump on the dialer, jump on a phone for as much time as you possibly have. If that's only an hour and a half, if you only have an hour and a half to jump on the calls to make calls to sellers, then go do that, right? I mean, do whatever it takes, do whatever the time that you have allotted. Go make that time and go make it effective for that period of whatever it is that you're trying to do. It's more than what most people are doing. Even if you take an hour and a half out of your day to go make calls, it's probably more than what most people are doing. If you go to the gym for 20 minutes, 5 days a week, it's more than what most people are doing.
Yeah, dude. Some people are just coming in here, and that's like the extent of what they're doing for the day in terms of like real estate or.
Well, they think that they think coming in here and listening to us is like they can use that as like, oh, I'm doing something.
That's like,
and I think that's a common misconception.
That's like the GIF that we've posted before with the kid sitting there with the book and he's just like scooping the words into his head. Like,
yeah. Well, I always used to say, I always used to say, like, you can go to the library every day, but that don't mean you're reading.
Yeah, they got a bakery at my library. That's the only reason I'm there. I'm not reading books. I'm there for muffins. And that kid right there in the side.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
That's my boy right there. That's my guy. But yeah, I mean, it's either analysis paralysis, like Jules said, or it's just, again, thinking that this is, like, because even showing up to here for an hour and a half a day is more than what other people are doing. So you can convince yourself that coming in here is doing enough, or that I'm doing more than other people, and I don't have more time than this, so I'm going to sit in here and I'll learn stuff. But, there's got to be more than this. Mike Ross.
Oh, I don't watch Suits, but I don't watch
Yes, he
Suits.
does.
Kev.
Don't let him lie to
That's
you.
Matt Riley.
He loves Suits.
I don't watch Suits. I don't know. I don't know any of the. It's not my type of show.
Yeah, right. Dude, it's the most watched show on Netflix. It's got like 2.5 billion minutes watched.
I was a Grey's Anatomy. I was a Grey's Anatomy head for a while, but
someone wants to get lit up. I love that show. Anyway, but that was a fantastic way to start. I think that's again, I think we can all sit up here sometimes and say like you need to do this or whatever, but it's nice to actually see, someone implementing things, whether they learned it from up here or learned it themselves or a culmination of everything, and actually the result is sitting at the closing table and getting a check. So, and it took a few months too. So anybody that's in here that I see that damn question all the time, like just join today. How can I want to get my first deal this month. I want to get my first deal this week. I want to get my first deal today. And it's just like, it's just not a realistic expectation. And if you think that's what this is, you're probably in the wrong business. 100%.
You're in any wrong industry. It doesn't matter what it would be. You're not making a sale on your first day. It's not happening. I mean, it takes, and if you make a sale on your first day, something's wrong.
Yeah,
right? Like something.
Check the paperwork.
Yeah, check the paperwork. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, make sure you run that credit card a couple times.
Yeah, the only time you're getting immediate day one is go buy a lottery ticket. If they're doing a lotto drawing tonight and you buy a lotto ticket today, that's the only way you're getting a payout that quick. 2 seconds after buying crypto. Yeah, where's land? Yeah, I mean it's.
Oh man, we got Mr. Crypto up here with us right now.
Is he crypto?
Mr. Juan Nicasio that's the crypto, aka the crypto poppy.
He's holding.
Don't talk shit about my crypto. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Here he comes. You see that? He heard crypto and he came around the corner. He picked it.
Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Do not do it to yourself. I don't make fun of you, real estate people. With your $400 a month, I'm gonna get rich tomorrow.
Oh no! Oh no!
If you want to go there, shots are gonna be fired. So
shots are fired.
Diamond hands, baby. You gotta believe. So it's all good. It's all good fun. All good fun.
Crypto's still
Juan's a real estate guy. Don't let him fool you.
Yeah,
I do a lot of real estate.
He does a lot of real estate.
God help me. If it wasn't for my wife and kids and some tequila, I don't know.
One of those things, yeah. One of those things, maybe more than the other.
Right. Telling you. Oh man.
Buy crypto. Where's my Lambo? John, you're not upset about not having a Lambo yet, are you?
No, 2025. 2025, you can buy your Lambo.
Oh my! That was the deepest exhale.
Man, I wake up in the morning.
Did that exhale feel good, or was that?
I don't know what feels good anymore, man. Today's a somber day. It's Friday.
Today's a somber day.
You're
not blessed. You're not blessed and highly favored today.
I'm blessed, but I'm stressed. I'm stressed. I don't have what I want yet.
Let me ask you this though, John. Let me ask you this though: is the stress different now than stress was 2 years ago?
Oh man,
is the things that you're stressed about now way different than what you were stressed about 2 years ago?
Dan, 2 years ago, I was stressed out about tray flipping down 7 stairs on my skateboard, and I used to call myself a failure because I couldn't do stuff like that. Now I'm upset and I'm stressed out because I don't have 7 figures in the bank. That's why I'm stressed out. and I'm trying to figure out how the fuck do I get from 6 to 7 as fast as possible with as little effort
I don't think you
as
want.
possible.
Don't ever.
That's
Wait,
what I
wait,
want
wait.
to
You don't
figure
want.
out.
You don't want 7 figures in the bank. Don't ever. If you guys got 7 figures in the bank, get that fucking out of there. If anybody in here has 7 figures in your bank, go get the fuck out of the bank account right now. Go fucking diversify that shit immediately, because that is a no, don't do that. You don't want
The
that.
FDIC insured amount, I don't think it's 7 figures.
Yeah, absolutely not. Now, John. All right, let's get a little deep here, bro.
That's what we got. This is what we
Oh,
got.
here we go. That's what we got him here for.
Bro,
Let's go.
you can't have that mindset at all, because once you hit 7 figures in the bank, it's gonna be like, okay, so now how do I get to 8 to 9 figures in the bank, and I'm stressed again. So when the fuck do you stop being stressed? When the fuck do you stop being stressed? That's the wrong mentality. You should be blessed and highly favored that you're in this position that you're in right now. This is where you need to be, right? Because there's learning curves between 6 figures and 7 figures. There's learning curves between 7 and 8. There's learning curves 8 and 9, so on and so forth. And you got to enjoy that and feel like content, not satisfied, right? Content, not satisfied with where you're at right now, and be really freaking happy and stressless where you are right now. Because if you're gonna be, you were stressed last year because you were fucking skateboarding, and today, you're at 6 figures and you're still fucking stressed. Well, it shit's never gonna end, bro. You're just gonna live in that stressful life because it's not gonna make a difference.
So
It really
what's
isn't.
the key, man? Where's where's the light switch to flip to just
It's gonna be all mental. It's all gonna be mental. It's gonna be, look, if you take an account for the fact that you woke up this morning and you got breath in your lungs and your limbs are all working, that's sufficient enough for you not to be stressed, bro. That's sufficient enough for you to be like, there is no stress, bro. You're not. I hope that you're not going through any kind of like major mental issues. I hope that you're not behind the scenes, that you have some kind of terminal disease that you're really stressed about because you didn't accomplish what you wanted to do. You didn't help families. You didn't help people. You didn't do anything you wanted to do, and you got like fucking one day to live. That's stressful. You don't have 3 kids and a wife and a mortgage and 2 cars to pay for, college tuitions. What the fuck are you stressed about?
Yeah.
Right? You got money in the bank. You're living in a foreign country, living an amazing life, free to do as you please. You're not working for the man. Like, what can you possibly be stressed about?
Yeah.
I love the ambition. I love the ambition. I love that you're hungry to get where you're at, but you can't tell yourself I'm stressed because I'm not where I want to be. Because if that's the case, I'm 40 years old. I haven't gotten to where I want to be. Should I just fucking jump off? Because it's been 40 years of this shit, and I haven't gotten there yet.
That's why I hate him too, John, because every time I bring up something like this, he does the same shit to me.
It's true.
He does the
What
same
Juan is
shit to
saying
me.
is
He gets
true. What
me.
Juan is saying is
He gets
true,
me.
But, at the same time, I really do. I just want more, and I know maybe I should be more grateful. I'm not saying I'm ungrateful. I'm very grateful, but I'm not where I want to be at yet. Not where
But
I
it
want
can't
to be
be a
at yet.
stress. You can't be stressed because of that.
But like
How
I
can
feel
you?
like that stress though is what kind of makes me do something. Because if I'm
I'd rather
cooling,
you use a different word. I'd rather you use a different word and say I'm hungry to be.
Yeah, because I was saying, there's a difference. Like, I don't think stress is making you do like drive and determination and hunger and all of those different things can be a reason why you go do the next thing and go push yourself. Stress is not really the operative word that I would use that's going to push you in a positive direction. Stress is the leading cause of all diseases and heart attack. Like, stress is a negative reaction to a situation.
People get addicted though. People get addicted to the stress response because of what it activates inside the brain. I know this because I've dealt with this a lot of times with a lot of clients of mine, but also on the other end, because I work with a lot of top high performers. Like obviously, I only take on so many private clients every year, and like all those clients pay a very high ticket for my service, and they're all very high performers, and it's been a journey with a few of them to get them off the addiction to stress response. And the reason that is the reason that you'll see a lot of people in high performing areas that are out of shape. They have issues going to sleep at night. They have problems in their relationships. They have all kinds of these issues is because they get addicted to the stress response and how it motivates them to go make money and go do the things they want to do. But at the same time, it's like really hampering and taking a toll on their quality of life overall. And you don't want to be in that position. One's 100% right. I actually will tell you that my last partner and someone I had a very close relationship with, personally was addicted to the stress response, and it caused a massive issue inside of our relationship as well as our partnership. And that's not something that you want to deal with on a regular basis. And you'll never be able to create a healthy partnership, whether it's relationship wise or business wise, inside of a structure if you are the one that's addicted to the stress response. Because you'll always be creating a negative environment just naturally around you, having and trying to trigger that stress as the motivator.
Yeah, but
You
Dave,
have
what
to
you're
get
describing
motivated
right
outside of
now,
stress.
what you're describing right now is quite literally what I do.
Yeah, that's an issue. You gotta fix it.
I don't know what
You're
to
gonna have
do.
you gotta find a way to get you gotta find a way to go get motivated without having to trigger stress.
Yeah, because I mean, look, man, you look, you can have it all, John. You can have it all. You understand? Like, you literally can create the life that you want, make the right choices, and be in the right places with the right people for sure. So you're building this, community, you're building this network. Your network is your net worth. You're gonna get to where you're gonna be. This is why I call you Mr. Billionaire, right? And you got to believe that. Now, you also want to get there in health, mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically. You want to be there in health. So you could stress yourself out to the point where you do become terminally ill. You'll hit what you wanted to hit, 7 figure, 8 figure, 9 figure, but now you can't even enjoy it because your health is shot, right? Because of the stress. Stress is the leading cause, like Dan, the non-doctor in the room, is describing. So you got to be
Taking shots at me.
You say you're not a doctor, you're a real estate guy. Honestly, you're just Dan the man. And you got to call it for what it is. So, John, like just using the word stress, and maybe even if you're doing this and you're like fucking like pacing back and forth, and you're really like internally stressed out, you got to check yourself. And I would probably recommend a book that is called let's see here. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get it for everybody here. 1 second. Amazon. What's it called? No, Audible. I'm gonna get it for you. It was phenomenal. I think it's Stress Less, Accomplish More. Stress Less. Yep. Stress Less, Accomplish More by Emily Fletcher. Do yourself a favor. I'm gonna put it in the chat if it's not already there. Stress less, accomplish more. It's going to require a little bit more meditation, right? A little bit more self-development. And you'll see that once you're able to do that, you literally will be able to get to your 7, 8, 9 figures that you're looking for much faster when you don't have these stresses that you're putting on yourself. It's actually delaying you from where you want to be. So you say that you want to get there faster, that you want this now, right? But because you're stressed, that's why it's so delayed. But whatever you're doing is counterintuitive.
Especially because think about where you were 2 years ago to now and how much improvements you made, and you're still sitting in this stress. So it's like maybe the money's not the issue. There's another thing, and I get the wanting more. We all want more. All of us are guilty of doing this to ourselves at certain points. We've talked about this in the voice channels where I've had personal concerns myself of like, am I going to be this person forever? Where every time I get to that next step, I'm like, all right, cool. Now what's the next step? And like, is there ever going to be a point where I get to somewhere and I'm like, okay, I'm good now. Like I don't yearn for any more. I have all the things I want. I don't need more. And that is a concern as like an entrepreneur and a business person, but you cannot stress yourself in that process. Because again, there's like adrenaline junkies who chase the adrenaline of jumping out of airplanes and things like that. That's a real thing. You know, they love the adrenaline, the blood rush, all of those things, the adrenaline junkie, but I don't know of anybody healthy wise, at least, that's chasing stress, and they're chasing that stress feeling, which helps them perform better. Because again, there's more negatives to that than positives in that situation.
Yeah,
Again, think about how many days you possibly waste when you're in these moments of stress. You're wasting days, and like Juan was saying, you're making it harder for yourself when you sit in that because you can't get out of it. And then I think when you're chasing that stress, there's only negative outcomes that come from that. I understand like needing to put your back against the wall and to feel that pressure sometimes in order to make a move. I just can't see overall positive things coming from chasing stress and putting yourself in stress on purpose.
Overall, it doesn't. So like for people that don't know, I'll get a little, since somebody requests, I'll get a little technical here. But so when we have the stress response, right, it triggers these things when we're activating. It triggers these things called myokines inside the brain, right? And these are all these different types of growth factors that are initiated and triggered inside the brain. And myokines are essentially, you can think of them sort of like little things inside of your brain that actually memorize and create new patterns for us to go off of. So that's when your myokines are at its highest, that's when your learning capabilities are at its highest. So when you do any kind of like really intense work, whether that's using your brain power, right? Or when you're going into the gym and you're working out really hard, you trigger a very high rate of myokine release. And the reason that you don't ever want to go in the gym upset or angry, even if you think it can help you lift a little bit more weight in that one, rep or whatever, the reason that you don't want to do that on a repeating basis is because you'll notice that people who go to the gym angry for the release of the anger tend to follow a pattern after that to where they adapt their stress response. So whenever anything stresses them out, they shift to what? Anger. Because the myokines create a pattern inside the brain to say, oh, hey, when we're stressed, how do we respond? With anger. And that's a horrible way to create a consistent pattern inside the brain. What you want to do is you want to create a pattern to go, if something happens that's stressing me out, what do? I go, hey, I stop for a second. I breathe. I lower my heart rate back down and I go, hey, how can I fix this situation? Analytically, I'm the man. I'm the woman. I'm the person that can solve this situation. What do I have to do to fix it? Because I've been to much harder situations and I've come out of them. So what do I need to do to fix this situation? I know that anger is not the correct response. But if we consistently repeat that process, anytime anything stresses us out or we allow it to stress us out, we immediately shift to anger. That's why you see a lot of people who when they get cut off on the highway or whatever, they immediately shift to like wanting to yell or scream or shout or whatever. They let that one event create a dramatic response that is really not all that, situation. What you need to do is when something like that happens, you go, you can freak out for a second, but what you got to do is you just got to go, okay, well, the important thing here is that nothing actually happened. I'm still alive. That person might be an asshole. They might not know what they're doing, but hey, I'm still alive. I'm okay, right? I just continue down the road. But if I let that situation create a dramatic anger response out of me, then I carry that onto the rest of my day. So when I get to my destination, I'm what? Not in a good mood. I'm angry. Why? Because that one dude cut me off on the highway. even though it caused no other situation to happen afterwards, that one response triggered a whole emotional reset to where I'm now in a response for the rest of the day. I'm not having a good day. So the what thing you can do is you can go, hey, like I want this, right? But if I notice that it's causing me to get stressed out, I go, hey, you know, I just want to be in a situation where I take a deep breath through my nose, out through my mouth, reset my HRV, reset my heart rate variability, and I can look at my situation now more effectively because I know that my ability to solve problems is much, much, much higher if I feel like I'm in a state of calm but aware. But if I consistently tell myself that to get to where I need to go, I have to trigger the stress response, then that's what you will consistently try to do. If I go into the gym and I say to lift this weight, I gotta get mad, then I will consistently find things that piss me off before I go to the gym so that I can go into the gym and I can lift that weight. And that you will continue to create these patterns now subconsciously inside of your life if you choose to that's what you need to do to motivate yourself. It's the same thing you'll see in relationships, right? If you've ever been in a toxic relationship, I'm sure a lot of people in here have. I have, right? I'm sure a lot of you, the rest of you have been in as well. What's something that you guys consistently try to do, right? If you guys notice, right? If you guys get into a fight and then something happens afterward that's sexually activating or anything like that, then and it's like it triggers a whole range of emotions in response, then every time you guys want to reignite that situation, you guys get into a fight. You guys get into a situation that's going to re-trigger those same emotions so that you can feel that same sensation. And that creates this really horrible environment, though, overall, to where it starts to take a toll on everything else outside of that. So it's the same thing with business. It's the same thing with the gym. It's the same thing with overall life situations, right? If you can sit there and you can solve the problem without freaking out, then you'll learn to continue to solve problems without having to get like anxious, right? This is why a lot of people will tell you to do, activities like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's not necessarily for the self-defense aspect. It's more so because things like chess and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and things like that require you to have to not to have these stress responses, to learn what to do, to think, to solve the situation instead of trying to create a stress response to move forward.
Amen.
I mean, yeah, I agree. Like I
But
said,
I'm not a doctor, so don't listen to what I have to say.
I think I agree with all of that, and especially, do I think that people chase stress? Yes. Do I think that because of maybe certain outcomes that took place after you were feeling stressful, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, that was a positive outcome. I ended up closing that deal, or I ended up whatever it was because I was stressed. Like you end up relating it somehow to the stress that you were feeling prior, and now that's like your good luck charm. Now that's the thing that you're trying to like lean in on and be like, oh, that's my superhero power now. When I'm stressed, I now become this person that gets things done. And it's like, that just can never be the case. And that there's other alternatives to lean into that are much healthier for you in terms of physical, mental health, everything else that'll serve you much better, especially in the long run. Everything, in the short term, it's not okay. But if you're doing that for a long period, you're 22 years old, you've only been doing this for 2 years or however long. Imagine being like this and feeling like this and leaning in on your stress for the next 5, 10, 15 years. You'll be a wreck. You'll be an absolute wreck. You'll be like those marathon runners when they're crossing the finish line and they're like hobbling like little, baby deer, and they have to be like dragged across the finish line. It's like, cool, yeah, you finished the race, but look at you. You're gonna be in the hospital for the next 3 weeks. Like, was it worth it? I mean, I guess to a certain extent, but just you got to find something else.
Learn to control your emotions, and the rest is history, man. Like, so many things open up for you. I learned that really, really late in my life, and I saw some people put in here, "Hey, I wish my mom, parents would have done that instead of whipping out the switch or the belt," which they only knew what they knew in order to help, to discipline you or whatever, and maybe they just whatever. Like we just come from some certain type of background, so I wish I would have learned that as well as a child, how to deal with anger management. Thank God I didn't really have a anger issue or things like that, but I do, I have suffered from anxiety and stuff like that, and it's taken a long, long time to do self development and get to the stage that I am right now, and being able to accept a lot of different things. Real estate, extremely stressful business, especially when you're in the ins and outs of the entire business, calling sellers, following up, losing deals, locking up deals, deals fall apart, buyers issues, lawsuits, title issues, people in the middle, people stealing your deals, going behind your back.
Owning investment properties too. Everybody thinks that like once you start buying properties, that's the sexy part, and that's like that part fucking sucks too.
Yeah.
You think dealing with shitty tenants and insurance claims and people like that part sucks too.
It really sucks. And so point is, you got to learn that this is a business that you're building. You're going to get there, but if you're able to learn to control your emotions and your anxiety and your stresses, well, a lot of things are really going to open up, and it's going to allow you to be a better leader and manager of your business, right? And be able to lead from the front, right? Because other people see you stressed. This community sees you stressed about where you want to be. And then we'll end well, we don't have to end the conversation here, but I know that we've been on it. But, you have to understand, you come in here, you got to be very, very careful. You got right now over 50 people listening. And so they see you, and this is and you guys can chime on the chat, but they see Mr. John Johnson as this person and team that's created such a massive organization and expressing themselves as to like, well, I'm not where I want to be. There's people that would kill to be in John Johnson's position today. And so you just got to be very, very cognizant of that, because so again, try to erase that word stress from your mind, from your vocabulary, from everything. Definitely work on that. Bring a lot more value into the space as to what you're doing to control these type of situations, because you are human. But I'd rather you not use that word at all. You can do whatever you want, but I really, like, from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, man. You can always find something to be stressed about.
So anyway, you're fucking champion. You're going to be a billionaire no matter what, because you're so freaking determined and unstoppable. So there's that, bro. Nothing to be stressed about.
You can always find something, I mean, like, I got three active lawsuits going on right now. Well, 3 pending. They're like, in the wing. We constantly, with my one business, the FDA is constantly on my, watching over our shoulders. They're constantly trying to change legislation. They're constantly trying to mess up our business model. They're constantly trying to change this, change that, to fix this, fix that. I could find something to be stressed about every single day. If I really wanted to, but really, what does that do for me? I've pretty much learned, and I feel like you've told me this yourself, John. We've learned that pretty much everything's going to always go the way that it's supposed to go, right? We just got to make the right decision when the time comes up for us to make the decision. But as we've said before, you've told me this before. Me and you both said it. It always works out the way that it's supposed to. You told me that. You told me that a couple months ago. I remember we were talking. And you were like, "Man, it does. It does, Dan. It always works out." That's what you said. It always works out.
Just hear, like, you didn't even try to do his voice, but just you saying that,
Yeah.
God, Like that's John. It really does, bro. It really does.
There we go. That was it. That was the one line, dude. He told me, he was like, it really does, dude. It really does always work out. And I was like, you're right. It does always work out. Right. One thing, I admire a lot of people, but, one person that I highly, admire, is people, who are around me. I have a lot of people around me, who work in the actual hospital, right? Like my clinic doesn't even work we don't even have like an actual hospital model. It's a whole different scenario. And, they're some of the calmest people, I've ever met. And, the fact that if you can be in a situation to where, you can, a guy who just got a stab wound, 3 hours ago, was in a recovery bay and he's fallen through the ceiling tiles and landed on your desk, 20 minutes ago, and you can handle that situation without having that stress you out, man. That's a real story. It's a real story. So, if you can take that situation and be like, it's got to figure it out. Like, if you can do that, if that person can do that, right, you can figure out whatever. You can figure out how to make 8 figures, man. You can figure out how to make 7 figures. So, it's like as stressed out as we want to be, dude. I know that I personally, with the girl that I'm with right now, I know that I can never really, like, I can't complain about anything I do, right? Because like she works in the ER bay is consistently. So I can't ever complain about anything that I do. I don't ever feel like it's valid because really, honestly, everything that we do in these spaces, man, it could be way worse. Like, trust me, like the stories that, and obviously my mom used to work in the ER and the ICU and all these things. So I know how bad business, if you're in, depending on what industry that you're in, how bad shit can really get. There's way more worse things out there. And if they can stay calm and if they can continue to be like, that's just how it is. Like, I have to sit there and look at things and be like, is this really that big of a deal? Right. The fact that I can't make $30,000 today and I got to get an extension on this contract on this period to push this out another couple weeks, right, on something that is really not that big of a deal. Is that really that big of a deal? No, it's not that big of a deal. Right. Think about that's why I asked you, I said, think about where your life was 2 years ago and look at where your life is now. Sometimes you consistently need to reflect, because I caught myself doing this actually yesterday, because right now, I'm in the middle of really trying to make a big decision about my living situation, whether I want to stay in this unit, or whether I want to move somewhere else. And my timeline to be able to make that decision is consistently closing by the day. And I remember I was allowing myself yesterday to get a little bit stressed out about that situation. And I looked at myself and I took a step back and I was like, okay, wait a minute. 2.5 years ago, I couldn't even afford to pay my rent. I had to sell my furniture to be able to pay my rent. Right now, at this moment, I'm trying to figure out whether I want to move into a house on the bay, right? Or whether I want to stay in this unit, or whether I want to get another unit in another building. And the only thing that I'm worried about is I don't really know if I want to downsize 500 square feet to keep a unit in this building. To me, I'm like, I was allowing myself to get stressed out by the stupidest fucking thing. Wait, how can you allow yourself to get stressed out about that when 2.5 years ago, I had my truck repossessed and I had to wait 3 months to get it back because I couldn't afford to get it back. Right? It's like, it's not even equivalent.
Yeah.
So
perspective for sure.
Perspective. Like, you got to look at it and be like, is this really that worth to get stressed out? I was like, no, I'll figure it out. Right? Like, and I came to the conclusion today. I said, you know what? I just need to call someone that I'm close to, and I just need to ask them what their advice is on this. I know that they're going to give me the correct advice on what it is that I need to do, and they'll point me in the right direction. But allowing myself to get stressed out about this situation is ridiculous, because I'm way past where I was just 2.5 years ago, right? And the situation that I'm allowing myself to get stressed out about isn't even valid.
Well,
so consistently reflect to create the powerful moments.
I appreciate it. I don't want to take up any more time on this. There's really nothing more to say about it. I appreciate everybody's insight.
Well, I mean, it's not just you. There's people in the audience that are experiencing these same things, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
important to touch on every once in a while. We've done it once or so in the past, and again, I think again it's easy to focus on the sexy part of business and everything else. We just had coach up first thing, and check closer this that, and I think that's fun. And then, but that's always the small percentage of people, right? The people that are actually closing deals are a very very small percentage of this community and of business in general. The majority, the bulk of the people are the people that are not closing deals, that are having trouble, having the stress, having all of those things. So I feel like having those conversations are important because you're potentially touching more people with that than you are, showing checks and things. So I think it's all relevant, and so I think it's good, man. I think it's good. I think it's good to be self-aware. And it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to have all those things. Just you got to pick yourself back up and figure it out. Take a mental Rolodex of your brain of the things you're stressed out about, your issues, and then just figure out each one by one. Okay, how can I solve this? And then got to go from there. Get a nice little whiteboard like I do. Somebody come fill this thing out because mine's just been filled with the same bullshit for the last month that I've been up here. So I got to start. I got to take my own advice. That's been the same thing on that whiteboard for over a month. So it's time to start fresh and put new things on there. So all good. Last day of Coffee with Closers. No, this is not the last day. Even though John's dressed like he's going to a funeral, this is not the last day. Rub them hams. Rub them together. Create magic.
Let's get some magic going.
Positive energy. Oh, Savion. I got to send Savion those Loom videos. Remind myself.
Sometimes you just don't know what you need to hear. That's very true. I just feel like, I hate to really get too emotional, because then I feel kind of weak, to be getting too emotional, talking about, my feelings too much. I don't really like that, to be honest. I catch myself wanting to talk about my feelings, but then I'm like, it's probably not the best idea. Just kind of gotta keep it together and keep it pushing.
Oh, you got to be human though. Like I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care about nothing. Like it's like being in a relationship with. Imagine dating somebody, and you on the first date you pretended to be somebody else, and that person loved that person. They're like, oh my god, and now all of a sudden you're dating, and you still have to be that person, and you're not. You're lying to yourself. You're lying about everything. You're pretending to be like this fun, outgoing person when really you're an introvert or vice versa, whatever it is. And now you're stuck. And now you can never be your true self because now you're worried. You're like, oh, what if she doesn't love me anymore? It's like, dude, if you're feeling this, you got to be you. Otherwise, again, going back to like the stress thing, it's not healthy. You're never going to be anything of where you want to be if you're not going to be your genuine, authentic self. The same way that we told Coach this morning, be your genuine, authentic self because that is going to serve you best in business, in life, in everything. Being your authentic self is the way, is the path always. Whether it's business or personal. Again, I know this is a business community and all we want to do is be successful, make $1 billion and all that kind of stuff. But there's so much other fucking parts of life besides that. I watched a video yesterday and a guy was talking about how he went to a funeral and they made a point, a topic about like your life is either based off your business resume or your eulogy resume. And he went to this funeral and it was a business associate of his, when it was a CEO and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, everybody that went up there had nothing to say about the guy. They could sit up there and talk about, nobody talked about how good he was in business and how he created this company, none of those things. But because he had spent his entire life just focused on business and nothing else, nobody had anything else to say about the guy. So it's like, build your business resume, but also build your eulogy resume as well. Like, who are you as a person? Who are you going to, like, you can't just only focus on this. And then the second that a deal falls apart, your life falls apart. Now you're stressed. Now you're this. It's like, you got to consume other things as well. You got to be a human being. If you're feeling emotions and you're feeling a certain way, you got to be able to talk about it or to feel it or something. Because if you just are Mr. Business all the time, you're going to fucking fail, dude. You're 2 years into this and look how stressed you are. And this goes for everybody, not just you. I'm saying in general. You gotta be able to either let it go or to get it out. Because you'll never make it another 10, 15 years. You'll be 30 years old and you look 80 because you're just going to be beat down by business and the world. That's my 2 cents on it. I learned it early. Well, not early. I learned it a little too late, actually. But I don't give a fuck for the most part about. I care about business. Don't get me wrong. I care about being successful. I care about making money. I'm good at it. I do it. But at the same time, I learned from personal experiences in my life. Business, I don't give a fuck. I would, if it mattered, if it was like family related, if it was something important to me, I would fucking tear it all down and give it all away tomorrow to get certain things back, to fucking to save something else. Like, it doesn't matter to me. So you have to have other things that you care about. You have to have other things besides just this. And again, not just towards you, towards everybody. So get out of those funeral clothes. Enough is enough.
Today's looking like a funeral day, man. It's like all cloudy, rainy.
Tell me I gotta take my shirt off?
And John's got a black suit jacket on, a black t-shirt, came in here in a bad mood.
Oh man. That could be it. Could be the choice of
Say less, Matt Riley.
Now I don't have to talk. Now I don't have to talk on Monday. I said all I needed to say today. Now I can I'll not show up on Monday now. Are you good? Everybody's good?
This opens up.
He's looking up.
This opens up a whole new world, the can of worms. That's what.
Whole new world.
Yeah, whole new world.
Your favorite song, A Whole New World. That's the energy coming together right
Dude,
now.
what's Paul been doing? Paul's been like extremely silent up here. The train's been at the station the whole show.
I am solving challenges right now. You hear the phone kind of blurping off. I got a couple deals that I've just gotta get patched up, which is fine. You know, happy to rise to the occasion. Prove my worth. So yeah, solving a couple issues. I've got a inspector being a stick in the mud on this report that we've solved, and I don't know, a lot of miscommunication.
You know what I always say? That's why they pay us. That's why they pay us the big bucks. Oh.
That's true. Like, and this is kind of the thing. Like, if I get paid pretty well for what I do, and this is why. You know what I mean? And I always kind of frame stuff out like on my deals. Like, if I get like a $12,000 commission check and I have to go drive and it's kind of a hassle and I'm starting to get pissed off about it, I'm like, would I drive to go pick up a sign for $12,000? I'm like, yes, I would. I would go do that for 12 grand. So, I just kind of frame it like that sometimes. I'm like, all right, good to go.
Like Paul's
to get a haircut. Nobody was like, "Go get a haircut."
What do you mean, John? You've had like 7 in the month that I've seen you up here.
Nobody was like, "Just go get a haircut."
Yeah, there was one point where you had a new hairstyle every day throughout the entire week. You went through 6 barbers in 7 days. Is that like like when girls sometimes when they're like, I need a change, and they like go dye their hair, they cut it. Like John, like when he gets stressed out, he's like, I'm going to get a haircut. And he's just like at the barber, getting a new,
he does, yeah.
He's getting a new line in his head. He's trying to figure something out. Every time he's stressed, he gets another eyebrow slash.
Oh man.
Oh, good. You could be. I'm not even going to air somebody out, but somebody hit my DMs yesterday, and one of their deals fell apart, and it is a large assignment fee that they lost out on, and I was most impressed with their attitude on it. I probably would have been guilty of being in a bad mood, but they lost out on a 6-figure assignment due to some issues last second, and they were it just was one of those things like, what am I going to do about it type situation. One of those things where like you can be stressed, and we always are all guilty of being stressed about stuff that we can't fucking control. There's nothing that I can do to solve or change the course of that thing. And that was his, it felt like that's what he was doing. He's like, what am I going to do about it? I lost it, and there's no getting it back. There's no nothing, and it is what it is. So, yeah, I forgot about that, though, until I just saw Savion say his deal's got foundation issues. Turn that into a creative finance deal.
That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that they lost out on that deal.
You win some, you lose some. Even the biggest championship team doesn't have an undefeated record usually by the end of the year. You know what I mean? So, that's how I kind of view my stuff. I had a buyer terminated a contract yesterday. We're back on the market. Just kind of took it on the chin, like, okay, cool. And thankfully, you guys have kind of preached this a couple times, like, don't have just one deal. Like, I've got 5 deals in the pipeline, so me losing this deal closing, in 2 weeks, I wasn't like crying about it because I've got another one closing next week. I've got one more closing 2 weeks after that, that kind of thing. So it's just like, okay, whatever, we'll go ahead and do it. So it's nice.
Damn.
Dan's savage all the time.
That was quite the description.
I wouldn't know anything about. I wouldn't know anything about that though.
How far down south do we got to go for that? Like really far south, or just past us, just past the Midwest? Past
you gotta
Tennessee,
you gotta get pretty far. You gotta
right?
get pretty far in the south for that
right.
one. Yeah.
As long as I gotta get past Tennessee, we're good.
You gotta get pretty far into the south for that one.
You taking a poll, John?
I had to, man. I had to. Let us know on the side chat if you guys like when we get mushy gushy and I get vulnerable on camera live.
Drop some fire in the chat if you want to see John cry. We'll get him to cry on Monday.
Drop some fire in the chat if you want to see John cry.
There's just 500 fireballs going through. You're not going to get any love from AB, I know that. You will get nothing. All right, well, how do you feel? What do you want to wrap this up? You want to get off the topic, answer questions?
If anybody has any questions, now is your opportunity.
I'm in a question answering mood. You know what that means.
Uh-oh, he's trying to get away from something. Paul should be doing something else.
There you go.
Paul's putting off some work here. Take advantage. Take advantage while the mood is still here.
That's right.
What specifically is being put off right now?
Oh, what am I doing? I am putting off uploading 2 contracts for compliance. And I have, what else do I have to do? Oh, another listing I've got to add. My personal listing for the duplex I haven't put up on the MLS yet.
I used to be so bad at the compliance part of being an agent. That was my least
who's
favorite
good
part.
at it, dude? Who wants to sit there and be like, oh, let me upload this PDF. This is so fun.
How many?
No way.
When I first started, how many commission checks of mine that were delayed because all of my paperwork was not correct,
Yes.
or wasn't submitted in time for compliance? So I had a closing like a month ago, and I still haven't been paid on it.
I'm like trying so hard to just like juggle all these plates, and like normally I have a TC, but I've like fired the last 3 that I've hired because they just bring more negative than positive into my life sometimes. So until I find the right TC, here I am, which is fine. Just I don't know. I get to hang out, chat with the boys, and do some contract stuff.
Take advantage. Paul's answering questions. Poor property portfolio seller fine.
Simone, if you learn that a property has serious issues after inspection, what do you do after that? What steps do you take? You can ask for a price reduction. That's probably what you're going to do, because you're not going to trust the seller to probably fix it the way you would want to fix it, the way your buyer would want to fix it. So you just say, give me that money. Hopefully they give it to you.
Gimme.
Gimme.
I think I'm low on calories. That's what it is, man.
Yeah, I never let the sellers do anything, because the seller's objective is to get stuff done as cheap as possible, to put as much money in their pocket as possible. So if you allow them to do any repairs, anything like that, they're likely going to cut corners, and they're likely, not going to do it correctly, or at least the way that you would do it. So your best step is to do price reductions, or if it was a traditional sale, you would do like seller credits, things like that, so you can get paid to do it yourself. Do it the way that you would want to do it.
Yeah. And I mean, you would hope that everyone operates like honestly, right? But it's so tough sometimes on transactions. Like you guys said, a seller is going to cut a lot of corners, and I've seen some really crappy corners cut where they're like, "Yeah, we totally fixed the thing." I'm like, you didn't do anything. You just like painted over it,
Those are my favorite TikToks. The landlord. Like
landlord specials.
Yeah, and then there was like one of them had like a dead fly on the wall, and the guy just painted right over the fly on the wall. Just painted the entire.
What is this? It's so bad.
It was wild, dude. It was just he painted right over the whole entire light switch, just painted over the entire thing with a roller, and then there was a dead fly on the wall, and he just went right over it. And just the big white fly was painted on the wall. Then keep it moving.
Yeah, it cracks me up too, because there's just some really funny fixes that I've had. I've had HVAC stuff. I don't know if you guys ever see this on air conditioning, but there will be like differences in, the temperential difference or whatever is off, the delta T or whatever they want to call it. Whatever, that's off. Anyway, I've had HVAC guys come out and repair. And like the HVAC dudes will be like, "Oh yeah, we recharged the system." And if you guys know anything about HVAC systems, typically when you see that it's been recharged, there's a leak somewhere because it's a closed system. So you're not supposed to have to recharge something. So if someone tells you that, just in the future, know that you probably have an HVAC repair that's coming. You know what I mean? Which thankfully I know that now, but when I was newer, I didn't. So I could be like, "What do you mean you recharge the system? It's still broken. You just put more Freon in it so that it'll pass what you need it to now," type of thing. It's like having an oil leak and then just kind of like topping off your car with more oil. Pretty funny.
I got debris in my eye.
Debris.
A little debris over here in my eye.
So what's going on with you, man? You're getting ready for Franklin, Tennessee?
Yeah, I woke up to an email with a bunch of shit that I got to send over and do, and so that's basically where I'm at now. It's just what is it? Crossing T's, dotting I's. That's what I'm at. But again, not a single box has been packed. We bought a 4-pack of markers that it's still in the plastic, so those are still not. So there's a lot to do. But still show up every morning. Still do this. Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
September 15th. We go actually. I don't. Yeah. So Tuesday I might not be here. We got to fly out. We're flying out Tuesday, coming back Wednesday. So I'll probably be here Wednesday morning, but not Tuesday because the flight leaves at like 8:50 in the morning, something like that. So we got to go do our final walkthrough and then. Yes, sir. I already got a deal. I got a sub 2 deal pretty much locked up right outside Franklin. So I'm gonna try to implement some Tennessee purchases. So I'm excited. I'll send you a nice video of my view. You guys keep shitting on Tennessee and my views out there, right?
Dude, I love Franklin, Tennessee. I've never shitted on. I've never shitted on Tennessee.
We get nice sunsets. All right. Well, I'm not 30 floors up, but I got a nice.
Dude, I almost moved to Franklin, Tennessee until I came down to Miami, and then I realized that would be a terrible decision. And now I'm joking.
Yeah, that's I can't say that there's not two farther places apart than Franklin, Tennessee, and Miami, Florida. I don't know if there's an opposite.
It sounded so sincere. Oh, I love Franklin, Tennessee.
Dude, no, actually, though, I will say if I did live anywhere in Tennessee, I would probably live in Franklin, just because it's close enough to Nashville that it is like you get access, but you don't have to deal with the Nashville traffic. And Franklin is an area that is like pretty much all new. So whatever you get into, a house, apartment, whatever, it's most likely going to be at least like barely lived in, or it's going to be probably not lived in. You're going to find a lot of new developments, and they have like they have a great health community in Franklin, Tennessee. Like there is some like insane gyms there. Their Lifetime Fitness has a resort gym there that is like just absolutely ridiculous. Like
that's why I moved there, because of the.
Is that why you moved there? You saw the Lifetime Fitness resort? Yeah. That's what sold him, dude. He saw the water slide outside, and he was like, "Dude, I've always wanted a water slide at my gym, man."
Like, you see the weights in there, and I was like, "Do you see the water slide out there?"
He's outside on the water slide, with all the kids, while everybody else is inside working out.
I'm pushing them out of the way. I've gone down it 5 times.
Get out of my way! Get out of my way, Timmy.
Yeah. We have 2 gyms in our community. Dude, everything is new construction out there. I actually had to ask one of the agents where I was like, is this sustainable? Because if you drive through Franklin, through all the different, like everything is a brand new subdivision, big, beautiful houses being built, big everything. And it's crazy. And they're like, yeah, this is what Tennessee needed. Like we're behind on development. So everything that's taken place over the last couple of years is needed. But I had questions. I was like, is this good for Tennessee? Because this is crazy. I mean, huge developments, communities with pools and fitness centers and all of these different, like where I'm living, it has its own. We have our own grocery store. We have barber shops and dentists and doctor all inside of our own community. So you never have to leave. So it's crazy. Golf cart. I got to go buy a golf cart. You guys will be getting some videos. Don't worry. Just cruising.
Problem solved on the
be doing a morning call with my Celsius on the golf cart. Just cruising.
Who's got questions? Let's get creative.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I know that
hit him with the outro.
I'm low on calories, and if I want to
hit him with the outro,
I gotta go get some food in me.
Hit him with the high energy outro.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me get my links together here. I'll hit him with the high energy outro.
Throw in the YouTube link too.
It's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, please consider inviting somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us. Send them that link, discord.gg/REIRev. And if you don't already, follow us on Instagram at REI Revolution and subscribe to our YouTube channel, REI Revolution, so that you can catch all of the live replays and stay in touch with all of the amazing guests that we bring onto the community platform.
Guys, free webinar tonight. Today is day 3 of the Blueprint Business webinar series. If you guys would like to learn about customer service relationships, how to build and direct and create personalized relationships with your clientele and your customer base, we can definitely teach you. I'll definitely teach you how to apply this to real estate outside of all other industries as well. So I will make it accessible to helping you guys inside of this field. We can make it to that for sure. If you're a real estate agent, you definitely need to be in the call tonight for sure, because we're definitely going to be dropping some gems on really how to make that happen. So I will have a very beautiful slide presentation for you guys, as well as a document that you all can take home for 100% absolutely free. We start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, and it will be right here in the live stream. And REI Rev is the only community that gets free access to this live stream. Everybody else who's going to be in, everybody else who has access had to pay for a ticket. We have 4 days of business workshop webinars. Day 4 will be next Thursday to end out the series. If you guys want access to the previous 2, if you haven't had a chance to watch those, you can pay $50 and you can get access to all 4 recordings, and you will be put on the email list to get you inside of that drive folder. If you want access to all 4 recordings, please message me and we can get you on that list easily accessed. Day 2 was sales training, and day 1 was how to build an effective CRM backbone for your system. So if you guys want access to all 4 days of recordings, as well as the previous 2 that have already been recorded, let me know and we can make that work. So hope to see you guys tonight.
Yeah. Customer service, that should be, coach should go to that one.
Coach should be there.
Yes, sir.
Be there.
All right, y'all.
Tweets.